Well, good afternoon and welcome to Seattle's Eastside Real Estate Team podcast, or Eastside Real Estate Podcast. I am Dan Edwards, the managing broker of the Eastside team, and I am so excited to do the podcast today. We've got some fantastic guests. I think you're going to get a lot out of it. It is Wednesday, April 5th. I cannot believe it's April already. We are right now live on Facebook and YouTube. Please subscribe, like, comment. We want to hear from our listeners. If you are listening to our podcasts, definitely would love a review of our podcast. You can find us on YouTube, or excuse me, on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and I think there's a half a dozen other podcast aggregators. So today we've got a special guest, Dan the Money Man Curry of Guild Mortgage is batting. What is it? To use a baseball term, he's going to be pinch hitting for our good friend Tucker Maxwell. And then Dr. Claudia Arriagata of Brilliant Health Institute. But before we get to our guests, let's start off with some real talk. So, as you know, I've been talking about this crazy mixed market for quite some time. And it technically, to use a very blunt term, we're in a seller's market. And what does that mean? The truth of the matter is activity through the market has slowed. It definitely has slowed quite a bit. However, the conditions today are creating a scarcity mindset in the minds of sellers. What that means is sellers are more reluctant to go onto the market for concern of recasting a future purchase in a higher interest rate. They're sitting on an interest rate that could be below 3%, and they're very reluctant to make that move. According to the National Association of Realtors, the home supply is way, way, way below what is a normal market. What is a normal market? Well, 5 to 6 months of inventory. Here on the east side, we're under 2 months of inventory, and I believe it was it went down. So we were up to about 1.9 months of inventory, meaning if no new homes come on the market, you're going to run out of homes to sell in about 6 to 8 weeks. So when the supply of homes gets this low, it's much harder for buyers to find one that is the right fit. And if buyers know they're not the only one interested in the home, they're going to do their best to submit the most attractive offer. Now, we have that mixed market where I do see some homes that sit on the market a little longer than others, and that may be ones that are slightly overpriced, and that buyers are running into a situation where they are a little picky because they're paying a higher interest rate. So when you pay a little bit more for something, you expect more. So there's this crazy kind of mixed market. So Lawrence Yun, our chief economist at NAR, says inventory levels are at historic lows, and therefore multiple offers are returning to the market. So what does this mean for the East Side market? I would say, East Side buyers, again, get yourself pre-approved. It's still possible that you can get some seller concessions depending on the competition. However, know that if that house hit the market yesterday, the chance of getting an offer that is significantly below asking accepted is going to be right in between slim and none. It does mean you need to still be well qualified. And as we have talked with our lenders in the past, and maybe Dan will hit on it a little bit, is the guidelines for qualifications, especially when you get to jumbo loan status in the East Side. There's a lot of homes that may put people over the conforming loan limits, so they have to go to jumbo qualifying. Those qualification standards are very stringent. Where the money comes from, how long that money's been quote unquote seasoned. A lot of times people are having to sell stocks, and their agent may not be declaring that they have to sell stocks, which could put them in breach of contract. So for buyers and sellers alike, it's an expert's market. Make sure you interview 1, 2, or 3 educated agents that have experience through all types of market, putting you in the best possible position, whether you're a buyer or seller in any market. That's my advice to you. So that's our Real Talk segment. Thank you for watching, and I really appreciate if anybody has any questions or topics for future Real Talk segments, you could just email them to, well, I don't know, I guess dan.edwards@kw.com. I'd be happy to answer your questions in real time. You can reach out to our team through our website, the eastsiderealestateteam.com, or call us at 425-200-4093. Next up, we are going to be talking with Dan the Money Man Curry at Guild Mortgage. So come back after this short commercial break.